All right,
the views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of ParaX, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Oh, hell no!
Well, hello, Dylan. How are you doing, man?
The following program contains opinions expressed by the Dead Zone. If you find this broadcast offensive, lighten up, candy ass.
What?
Oh my gosh.
It's a radio show.
Hell yeah! That's what I'm talking about.
Dylan is co-founder.
Power up request received. Initiating systems. Powering up transmitters.
Hello?
Welcome to the Dead Zone.
All right.
Wait a minute. Hear this.
Yeah, it's kind of coming through like really. All right, guys. So how have you guys been doing? It hasn't been that Dead Zone Paranormal Radio Show here. April 11th. Dakota Rifles back and his partner, co-founder of Night Hunters Paranormal, Dylan Robinson. Lots of great things coming up. I keep reminding you, non-con in Ohio.
Really should have waited until he got stabilized.
DeadCon,
right?
Fort Wayne, Indiana.
But, it is what it is.
Fort Wayne Center. And coming up real soon.
Okay.
Paranormal
All right, you guys
Day
good?
Celebration. Yeah. I think it's
okay.
That's in
like
India.
I said, it hasn't been that long that you've been on
at the Hannah House.
Check that out.
To be honest with you, all that information
I've
online.
sleep
Since then, and I can't remember where we left off. Anyway, before we get to Dylan and his partner, here's Michelle. I think that's the reason that we wanted to have your brother, your co-founder, Dylan, on to talk about what his experiences were, what you talked about with me. The last time,
Hello,
right?
this is Michelle with Paranormal News.
Making sure. Yeah.
On
We left off where? What was the last thing that
There's
we
an article about the 6 most common sources of emotional damage. I'm not going to read the whole article about it. I'm just going to read
and it's actually kind of it's starting to clear up
which is going to
a
be a
little bit.
lead-in
Advertise all the time.
what I want to talk about.
DeadCon.
So the first one that
Hannah House
he has listed is neglect or rejection.
That's great.
Neglect or rejection is commonly experienced in our childhood, and if we never address it, the pain will never heal. It's a sad fact that this is probably the number one thing that prevents people from healing. Common examples include neglectful or abusive parents who failed to care or nurture one's emotional spirit. Other situations include broken friendships, when a relationship breaks up, or even a coworker or acquaintance seems to be avoiding your presence. These experiences may cause us to lash out in anger or hold that negative emotion in certain chakras or deep within our energetic field. Most typically, emotional damage from rejection is held in the heart and solar plexus chakra.
Right.
The next one he talks about is loss and dramatic stress. Stress is a natural emotion that results when you lose something important to you. Someone that you care for passes away,
it's a hospital.
Or you suffer a traumatic experience like rejection. This kind of trauma is extremely difficult to overcome, but it can be done. The experience of loss can shatter one's assumptions about the world and force us to look inwardly. Chakras begin to close up and become warped, and our aura begins to change to a darkish gray color. The next one is guilt and shame. Rejection, loneliness, and loss are painful experiences caused in part by our need for strong connection with others. However, in guilt, you are the source of your own unhappiness. This can be a tough pill to swallow, but the majority of all guilt and shame starts from the self. Guilt comes as a form of misalignment from one's moral compass or direction and is commonly experienced in 2 ways. Unresolved guilt refers to the feelings left behind when you believe you may not have completely apologized for a wrong you committed against another person, even though in reality you did all that you could.
Halfway there.
So to overcome guilt, you must
get on that phone.
forgive yourself first. After you've forgiven yourself, you need to feel that it's okay for you to re-engage with your life and go on to enjoy that success you feel so guilty about. Next, we have living in the past, going over and over the unpleasant or disappointing experiences in your life, whether real or imagined, takes its toll on your well-being.
Do you think it was a
Just
building
like a scar that you
was
pick at over and over
turned
again,
into a hospital
it will leave a
that was
permanent
a
mark
Masonic
unless you
lodge at
learn how
one
to
point,
stop.
or what? 'Cause
The first step to start living in the
that's kinda
present is to
confusing.
realize that other people don't see the world the same way that you do. Most people are selfish, and that includes how they view themselves. If you find yourself replaying an event over and over again, you need to learn to let go. We often find it difficult to let go
there goes
because
the cars
we wish
again,
we could have
dude.
changed things. But the fact is,
Yeah, well,
those
I
events
am
have already taken place
a Mason.
and are preventing us from living a full life in the present. Letting go is one of the many things that he emphasizes to his students that will help them unblock clogged chakras and begin living a refreshed life again. Next, we have failure. You can probably see a common thread running through the situations that are most likely to cause the pain. It's no surprise, then, that failure is one of the main situations that cause this kind of
nothing
harm.
has happened.
We can
since
often
the last
feel
time
worthless
we talked.
and
so let's go back
useless after failing at a task
to the last
or
time
a relationship.
you and I had spoken.
However,
and
if we continue to live in the
get some,
mindset of failure, we start to
insights
live in
on
the
what
past,
Dylan
causing our chakras to
thought
spin
about
out of
these
balance
places that
and
you
create
went to.
physical manifestations of our hurt.
I'll tell you,
By talking to someone else, you may also help to get the perspective you need so that you can look for a silver lining in the experience of failure. Next, we have loneliness or solitude. The longer you go without relating closely to others, the more difficult it becomes to reestablish contact with new people, or even get back in touch with the old friends you've drifted away from. This may cause us to believe that no one cares about us, but who is to know that you're hurting if you never share that with anyone? If you're convinced that no one could ever love or care about you as a result of your emotional pain or rejection or neglect, he has a method that he calls the replace to repair method. You are capable of love and being loved.
Okay, now is that legally
Thinking
documented,
positive thoughts
or is
to
that
yourself
just
can help with this process. Another great way to combat loneliness is to adopt a pet that you can nurture and grow. Pets are relatively inexpensive, but may provide the support and listening that you need to open yourself up again and begin living a clearer, happier life.
This is Rick McCullum of the Hollywood Ghost Hunters, and you're listening to The Dead Zone.
I understand what you're saying.
Dead Zone, WDZR-TV, worldwide.
Yeah, okay, well, we have tried to get in there, and
in my last
the building
segment,
itself is torn down now, but we've tried to get in there many times,
of emotional
and
damage.
it is on all, it's
now I want to go on talking about
books,
emotional
right?
trauma.
All over the internet and everything,
Again,
right?
this is off of ReikiInfiniteHealer.com.
When we would contact them, they would say, no,
that
you're mistaken, there's
Dave
nothing
Nelson.
here.
He's a Reiki master.
Hearsay, that's not true.
And
so
he goes on to
know,
talk
right?
about how, in his last blog, that he wrote about the 6 situations, and he received a lot of feedback, so he expanded further on this.
Mm-hmm.
So what is emotional and psychological trauma? Emotional and psychological trauma is the result of extraordinarily stressful events that shatter your sense of security, making you feel helpless in a dangerous world. This varies differently from regular stress, which may be temporary.
Right.
Trauma causes or creates a lifelong pain. The more frightened and helpless you feel, the more likely you are to be traumatized.
How long have you
I've gone over the 6
together?
most common
you're
events
not really
that cause
brothers,
emotional
but
pain
you may as well be, right?
in my previous article.
Oh no, we're actually blood brothers.
You're blood brothers.
To explain this further, it could also be caused by
Dakota Rifle and
accidents,
Dylan Robinson.
serious injuries, a negative
You've been
environment,
doing this together
natural
for
disasters,
how long?
sudden attack, surgery, death, and so many more things.
Okay.
Chances are that you know someone who has experienced this kind of event before.
Right.
The repercussions of trauma are many.
Before
Everything
that,
from lasting physical pain and paralysis to emotional detachment.
before they shut down.
Since traumatic events are all experiences subjectively, there is no right or wrong way to think or respond about a situation. Judging one's own or another's experience may cause more suffering to endure rather than heal. But there are ways to heal from trauma.
Now,
whether or not a traumatic event involves death, survivors must cope with the loss, at least temporarily, of their sense of safety. The natural reaction to this loss is grief. Like people who have lost a loved one, trauma survivors go through a grieving process. And before you begin trying to repair the damage of trauma, make sure that you give it enough time to pass. If you turn to others during this time, you will find a support group to hold you stable as your energy and pain slowly dissipate.
Man, we're going to get into that stuff. And I said, yeah. Well,
trauma disrupts your body's natural equilibrium, freezing you in a state of hyperarousal and fear. In essence, your nervous system gets stuck.
we do a
as well as burning off adrenaline and releasing endorphins. Exercise and movement can actually help your nervous system become unstuck.
But that's another.
Try to exercise for at least 10 minutes a day.
Anyway.
Whether it's just taking a walk or at the gym,
you're
does
in
not
West
matter.
Virginia,
30 minutes is
which is
preferential.
awesome.
But since
Just
trauma
by
can be
itself.
excruciating tough to overcome,
those hills
is a good starting
haunted.
point. Exercise that is rhythmic and engages both your arms and legs, such as walking, running, swimming, basketball, or even dancing.
We're friends with the Ames team, the Mountain Monsters.
Instead of focusing on your thoughts or distracting yourself while you exercise,
the big
really
flat
focus on your body and how it feels as you move.
But
notice the sensation of your feet hitting the ground, for example, or the rhythm of your breathing, or the feeling of wind on your skin as you run or walk.
Right. Well, they're
However, be sure to start light and progress towards making heavier exercise.
But of course, that
starting too heavy can also throw your body off balance.
Things evolve.
Seek the comfort of others.
But
isolation will only make things worse.
I'm going to ask you.
Connecting to others face to face will help you
Dylan,
heal.
What is your
so make an effort to maintain your relationships and avoid spending too much time alone. You don't have to talk about the trauma. Connecting with others doesn't have to mean talking about your pain. Instead, talk about other things and direct your attention to the other areas of life. The main takeaway here is that comfort comes from feeling engaged and accepted by others. Become aware.
Right.
Many things have been written about Reiki breathing techniques, and he has seen how dramatically one's life can change through mindful and conscious breathing. No matter how agitated, anxious, or out of control you feel, it's important to know that you can change your arousal system and calm yourself.
Yeah.
Not only will this help relieve your anxiety, but it will also engender a greater sense of control.
Yeah,
remind yourself of this as you or someone you are treating or caring for moves through the trauma. Also be aware of other things that are calming. Each and every person's chakra and energetic field responds differently to different inputs. For example, does a specific sight, smell, or taste quickly calm your nerves? Or maybe petting an animal or listening to music works to quickly soothe you. Everyone responds to sensory input a little differently, so experiment to find what works best for you. Rest and eat well. Someone who has experienced trauma may have trouble doing this, but it is crucial to move through the pain. You must get plenty of sleep.
Something like
After a traumatic experience, worry or fear may disturb your sleep patterns, but a lack of quality sleep can exacerbate your trauma symptoms and make it harder to maintain your emotional balance.
I imagine that,
Go to sleep and get up at the same time each day. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. Sleeping any less than the 7 to 9 hours after a traumatic event can cause symptoms to worsen, as the energy depleted is not fully being restored.
Who are they? You can go ahead and say, I don't care.
Oops, hold on. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. So he has
we kind of enjoy ratting out.
If I can get back to where it
fakes,
was,
if you will.
Hold on.
Doesn't matter to me. So yeah, you can say who they are. It doesn't matter.
Anthony, what is it? Kind of Anthony Drummond?
No. Just the team name. The team name.
Draco Paranormal.
Draco Paranormal. Yes. So they, not only did they steal your equipment, they also
stole our evidence.
And said, "See ya." You never heard from them again.
Nope, and they like doing that satanic stuff too.
Oh Lord, well, yeah, they're trying to get
That's what we said.
Maybe they're trying to get on TV or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's what he was worried about, honestly. When he was with us, he said, we need to get famous. We need to do this. It's like, buddy.
Well, you're not going to get famous, not doing it for real. And if you do it for the right reasons, you're not. Sorry.
No, and the funny thing is he's like, oh, man, when we go to these places, we need to charge all these people. And we're like, no, that's not what we do.
Nope.
We're in it to help everybody.
That's right. Oh, man, there's a whole nother show we can do on that. I don't know. Before COVID, when we were all here in the studio together, it was great because, a few of us lean one way and I lean another, and it was kind of cool. But, yeah, we could do a whole nother show on the pay-to-play aspect of the paranormal, Anyway. So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, Dylan, if you want, go ahead and explain the story of what happened to Nick when we were at Stone.
Yes, please.
All right, so me and all the guys, we walk up on the hill, and Nick says, I'm going to stay right here and watch your equipment and watch this little cemetery right here. And we're like, well, we don't think it's best for you to stay by yourself. And he's like, he kept egging it on, saying, yeah, I'll be all right. So we go up on the hill, and me and Dakota get this weird feeling, and we walk down there. Nick's laying on the ground with a crucifix?
Yes.
With a crucifix held up to himself, and he's telling us that something grabbed a hold of his shoulder and threw him down. So we turned on the spirit box, and we asked some questions like, did you hurt our cousin? And it said, he's fooling himself, or he's full of himself is what it said.
He's full of yeah. I got you.
Well, exactly.
But you got a reply, though.
Yeah,
yes.
Like we said, are you the ones that hurt our cousin? And he said, he's fooling himself, and then did like an evil laugh.
Okay. Oh,
yeah, it was pretty crazy because we were using the spirit box. Dylan was over near a tree there. It came through the spirit box on Dylan's side, and whenever I was standing right beside Nick holding the Ovilus EVP recorder we had.
Yeah.
And you can hear the spirit box on the recorder, which was very weird to me. And it came over this EVP recorder and said the exact same thing, except on the EVP recorder, you could hear something take a clear, deep breath in and then say, he's full of himself.
Right.
And then laugh.
Huh. And you have that? Do you still have that?
No, that's one of the pieces they took.
Gosh, dog it.
Because they took the EVP recorder that had it on it.
Man. And you guys knew these people? You trusted these people?
Well, they seemed like really good people, and we got to know them. And because we always did a little run through with them, couple investigations before we thought about letting them join the team.
Yeah.
And they seemed like good people, nice as can be, and they're just one of them people that'll be nice to your face and turn your back on them.
Right. You got to watch yourself. Some people that offer their hand in friendship first are the ones that will turn on you.
Yeah. And I tell you what, like I was telling you last time I was on the show, since where I moved to here in Williamson,
yeah,
the people I've met down here are the most honest people I've ever been around. Heather knew, she's helped me so much since I've been here. And then Greg Justice, he's helped me a lot too.
Greg T? Greg T, Justin? Greg T?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Greg is actually the one that I'm going to the hospital with.
All right, very cool. That's going to be great.
He took me pretty much under his wing and let me do a bunch of stuff with him here, and it actually showed me a lot of stuff I didn't know.
Right. Oh, cool. Yeah.
Greg's probably one of the most
down to earth. Yeah.
Go
ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I keep getting on top of you. I'm sorry.
He's one of the most straight up people I've ever met. He always keeps everything honest, and he's, like Dylan was saying, he's not one of these people that want to charge everybody to do something.
Right.
Yeah, he's like us. He's in it to help everybody.
Yeah, and to have to have a good time, and it is true for the events that Greg puts on. These guys expect and charge a little bit of money to show up at, right? And that's just the way it is. It's
Yes.
For example, what's he doing now with? I think he's doing one with the Ghost Brothers, isn't he? Again.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I know he does the Paranormal Adventures event stuff, and he's actually got himself pretty big with a couple, like, TripAdvisor people.
Oh, yeah.
And actually doing really well.
Right. I mean, we have him as our sponsor on the Dead Zone. I mean, yeah, he's a great guy. I had a good time with him years ago at Ashmore Estates, with TGS, I think it was.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Anyway. Okay. Let's keep moving forward. I think we have maybe 20 more minutes to go. So is there anything that you want to just throw out there? And
well, I'll let Dylan talk a little bit since I talked most of the time last time.
All right.
Man, you always got a big mouth.
Well, what I did, I brought up the cemetery. You guys brought up the cemetery. What is the picture? For some reason, I thought it was the Hatfields and McCoys, but the cemetery on your website, on your Facebook page.
Yeah, I remember you asked him about that last time, and he said he had to look about it. I don't know if he ever got a chance to look or not.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of headstones. And
is there a church in the picture, or is it just a bunch of tombstones?
Just a bunch of tombstones. It's a bunch of tombstones, and one that's really cool. It's a light anomaly that's going down a road. What was that?
I am pretty sure that is the Hatfield Cemetery.
That is the Hatfield. I'm not going insane. So okay, yeah, all right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I assume you were both together at that location, right?
Actually, no. I went by myself there. It was just
you know better than that, right? You're not supposed to go by yourself on these things, right?
Yeah, sir.
Yes.
Well, my girlfriend was with me whenever I went. I meant Dylan wasn't with me.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
And it was actually pretty creepy whenever I went there. It was middle of the day, and I used my spirit box for probably an hour. Didn't get no voices on it, nothing. And then the crazy thing was, I checked my EP recorder I had laying on the tombstone.
Yeah.
And about 30 minutes in, you hear a little boy laughing, and then about 5 minutes after that, you can hear the same little boy's voice go, I just want to play.
Yeah. Well, cool. That shouldn't scare the average person, but my big get the hell out of here thing is as kids. If I see or hear a little kid when I'm in a place like that, then I'm done. I'm gone. You know what I mean? Oh,
yeah,
man.
That's like at when we went to Loveberry, Dakota. We was up there that night, and we seen that little girl running behind the tombstone.
Oh man!
And we followed her up there, and she was gone. So we go to where she disappeared, and over the spirit box it said, "Run while you still can."
Oh man!
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Wow. We didn't run at that point, but we looked down to the bottom of the cemetery and seen a shadow figure running towards us, so then we took off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Speaking of Loveberry, we have had something happen here lately. Okay. I totally forgot about that. It was about, 3 weeks ago, Dylan?
Yeah, I'd say about 3 or 4 weeks ago.
I was actually going up there to just kind of look around. It was still daytime, and because I hadn't been up there in over a year. And as soon as we turned on the road to where Loveberry is, it started storming real bad.
Yeah.
There was lightning right above the church. If it tells you anything, as soon as we pulled up that road, with my own 2 eyes, I seen a black dog running beside our vehicle with glowing red eyes.
Oh, really? A hellhound?
Yes.
Wow.
And that's the only thing I can explain to you that it would be.
So Blackberry Road is the church of the same name, or?
Loveberry.
Loveberry, I'm sorry. Not Blackberry. Good Lord. Yeah. Loveberry Road. So Loveberry Road, and there's a church that's called Loveberry Church, or?
Yes. There is. I will actually go on here after we get done on the show, and I'll add some newer pictures of the church on here that I took whenever I was just visiting my brother about a week ago.
That's awesome.
The church is Loveberry Church, but the cemetery that's inside is St. Bernard Cemetery.
St. Bernard Cemetery, okay. Wow. Is that gated too?
Yes.
It is gated. Is it new gated or like old school, a long time ago?
Yeah, I think it was from a long time ago, and they put up like a pipeline clear up through there and have no trespassing signs on the gate of the church now.
Right. Yeah, because you get busted if you go into any cemetery now after dark. So.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, and then it didn't. They don't care if we go in it. Like I talked to them a while back. But the reason they did it all is because everybody goes up there and vandalizes it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we talked about. Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous, and shame on you people for that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's one major thing me and Dylan have always done. We have always got permission from somebody to always go into the locations we have been in. We are not the kind of people that just kind of walk in on their own.
Yeah,
we always permission.
Yeah, it's kids, man. That's what happens. Kids go into a cemetery, they get stupid and do stupid things, and that's whatever. Yeah, it just makes me mad to think about it because even back in the day when I was younger, when we would do that, we would go in that, we wouldn't disrespect anything.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
That's the way we were before we got into the paranormal stuff.
Right.
I mean, before we had equipment and everything, me and Dylan would just go kind of walk around the cemeteries at night, see shadows.
Right.
We never did nothing. We seen flowers off of the graves. We always fixed them.
Right.
We're not the kind of people to vandalize anything like a lot of people around where I'm from and where Dylan lives is.
Right.
Like, that's the thing. Like, we even had a guy on our team when we first started our team. He thought it was funny to start peeing on a tombstone. We said, "You're out." Like you're.
Are you kidding me? Really? How disrespectful could that be?
Yeah, we about got in a fight over that because we said that's the most disrespectful thing anybody can do. We said, "You're off this team. You can walk back home."
Right. That's too bad he didn't get an attachment.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awful. Good gosh.
That's like he said. We always pick up flowers, even if we're on like a major investigation. If we see something knocked over, we'll pick it back up. We've even tried picking up like the tombstones and setting them back up, but some of them, like the underneath part, is destroyed, so they won't sit up.
Yeah, they won't sit up straight. Yeah, and they're so damn heavy too, right?
Yeah, that's all help any.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing too. I don't know if you've ever heard the story of Octavia Hatcher in Pikeville, Kentucky.
No, please let us know. Tell us.
Well, the story about that is, I guess it was whenever it was some kind of like Spanish flu or something like that going around.
Yeah.
Don't quote me word for word that I have the story right about the sickness. But she was buried alive, and some people say she was buried alive with her baby, I believe.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And me, Greg, and the Southern Gypsies, we done a live thing there.
Okay.
And we got some pretty cool evidence from there. Me and Greg were there before we done it and kind of done a little night investigation and caught voices. Greg had a bunch of stuff happen on his tablet. And that is one place I recommend anybody in the Kentucky area to go to.
Right.
But you have to make sure you get permission from the city of Pikeville.
Right.
That place is really active, and there is a cemetery right down the road from it. It's like one of the Hatfield-McCoy cemeteries.
Right.
And that place is very active, too.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine that would be an excellent place to go try. You said the Southern Gypsies.
Yes.
Now, not the Mountain Gypsies, the Southern Gypsies.
Yes, they are a group out of Virginia.
Okay. I know one of the I think it was the Mountain Gypsies, just recently passed away, so that's not the same group, right?
No.
Okay.
That's like with like you're talking about one of the active places up there. I haven't talked about it much, but I told you there's a place down here. I don't know if you're familiar with Flinderation Tunnel.
Who, me? No.
There's the story behind that is, like he said, don't quote me, but there was 3 workers inside the tunnel one day, and usually you know how they'll have the list of when a train's supposed to come through and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And well, this train come through unexpected, like wasn't even expected to come through yet. And they have little cubby holes in the tunnel, and two of them got ran over.
Oh.
Cut in half. One of them got drug up the track, and one of them made it into a cubby hole.
Right.
But they say, like, at night, sometimes you can hear a train whistle go off. Well, me and my buddy Bear was up there one night, and we're just messing around, investigating a little bit. And first off, you hear, because there's a little creek that runs through the sides of the tunnel, and we're standing there, and it says, "Don't step in water, danger." Right. And we're like, okay. Well, about 2 minutes after that, we see these 3 headlights, what looks to be like lights coming towards us, 2 right beside each other and 1 down below in the middle that looks like kind of like a train light.
Right.
Well, it just gets up near us and disappears, and we're like, well, that was weird. And I kid you not, about 30 seconds after that, if that, there was this loud train whistle inside this tunnel.
Yeah.
And there was nothing, no more lights, nothing, and there's no train tracks run anywhere near that place anymore after they tore them out.
Wow.
Nope.
That's crazy.
Flinderation Tunnel is a very active place, and speaking of that story, Dylan, you remember whenever we were there and we seen the guy riding on the bike, and he looked like he was in like 1930s clothes, and he had an old mining light on his helmet he had on. And he was asking if we knew if the train was coming through tonight and everything. Like, he didn't know where he was.
So he spoke to you?
Yeah, he actually spoke to us.
A full apparition, a full-bodied apparition.
Like he looked like just like me and you, like someone like us. Like, didn't no little mist to it, nothing. He looked like a real person.
Right.
And he had all that and was asking when the train was coming through. And, like, he just sort of vanished. But also, on top of that train tunnel, there is a cemetery.
Yeah.
And, like, directly on top. And back in the day, well, actually, not too long ago, not the cemetery, but the tombstones and the coffins would fall through the tunnel and come down the tunnel.
Are you kidding? Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was creepy. I'm just waiting for one day me to be there and one come through. That'll be the last day.
No, that's amazing. That's really, really poor planning, you know? I mean,
yeah, that tunnel's so old. Like, there's cracks and breaks everywhere in that tunnel.
Right. Good gosh. What's it called again?
Flinderation Tunnel.
Flinderation, and that's in what county?
Salem, West Virginia.
Salem, West Virginia. Wow.
Well, it's actually about 1 mile before you get to Salem, West Virginia, on a road called Flinderation Road, and you just go up at about maybe not even half a mile, and there's a gate on your right, and you have to walk up through the gate to get to the tunnel.
Right.
And there's no trespassing signs or anything like that. Everybody's welcome.
Right. And the tunnel below, it's not blocked off at all either, right?
No. It's not blocked off at all. It goes from one end clear to the other, and it's a long tunnel.
About what, 100 feet?
I'd say about that, maybe a little bit longer.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd say probably more in the range of like 300 feet.
300 feet. Big tunnel.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty big, and I'll tell you, if you're there of a night, if you hear any footsteps, see any lights, you can tell if it's somebody with you or not.
Yeah, that's amazing that you guys encountered a full body apparition on a bicycle, of all things, asking you about when the train's going to come through. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was the craziest thing I'd say we've had happen to us. Like, as far as apparitions go.
Yeah.
Because he rode his bike into the tunnel, and we were watching him the whole time. And as soon as his bike went into the tunnel, he just vanished.
You're just gone.
Actually, right here it is. The tunnel is 1,086 feet.
Okay, that's a big tunnel. Yeah. Wow.
I wasn't anywhere near the ballpark area.
Yeah. So maybe the next time you guys goes out with your favorite pieces of equipment, you ought to take a camera too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, we definitely need to get more cameras.
Right. Just a point and shoot, man. I mean, good Lord.
Yeah. We have a camera, but I'll tell you, you can ask Dylan if there's any kind of apparitions around us or anything. Our camera dies in no time.
Oh, I agree. I know how that works too. Yeah, I mean, what I do is I keep a little point and shoot in my pocket, and if I feel just behind me, if I don't even look, I just pull it out, turn it on, and start clicking.
Oh yeah, we've been talking about buying like a digital camera and just keeping it.
Yeah.
And taking pictures every time we feel something.
Oh yeah.
Me myself, I think the old time cameras, like the little disposable ones you could get from like Walmart.
Yeah.
I think they do really well when it comes to getting pictures because you don't have all the glares off of these new cameras and everything.
Right. Yeah. I've got, like I said, it might be right here. Hold on. Let me look and see. I don't know if I have it in the office or not. Crap. No, I don't. It's a little cheap one. I mean, and I've carried it since 2006, so that'll tell you how old it is. But it does the job really well. I mean, even if, like I say, if I'm not looking, I just pull it out and just start snapping. Always do 3. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Just to cover for your own sake. So I heard something, boom, boom, boom.
Exactly. Like that's like with us, with our cameras, we usually try and take more than one picture because most of the time, if like something's standing right in front of us, we take a picture, it won't show up. So we usually flash it a couple times.
Right. Yeah, we've got a few of ours on the RIP page. If you follow us at all, there are a couple that are from a Masonic lodge, not Masonic lodge, but we'll just leave it at that. But the same thing, click, 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 and unbelievable what was caught on those things, and I can't express more. Always 3 or 4 pictures every time.
Yes, that is something we have learned real quick. Is never take just one picture. Always make sure to take more than one to make sure whatever you see is not there in other pictures.
All right, guys.
And even on that, like you take more pictures just in case, like they know you're taking a picture. You can snap a few because they might not show up on the first couple or something.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we mean. All right, guys, we've got like 1 minute 53 seconds. You can be found where?
On Night Hunters Paranormal on Facebook.
Absolutely. And you don't have a web page yet, or you did have one and you just haven't updated, or?
We have a YouTube, but it is still in the process. We have a couple videos on there, but we are still trying to upload more.
Right.
But we have phones right now. It's kind of hard taking our SD cards and uploading everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right, so Dakota Rifle and Dylan Robinson, the founders of Night Hunters Paranormal. Check them out, dude, and we hope you'll come back.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
Here are available.
All right, man. Anytime.
All righty, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Now,
I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
worms crawl out, they crawl all over your dirty snout, your chest. My name is David Walton. I am a vocal performer for What Are You Afraid Of? Horror and Paranormal show. And I have carried the burden of a terrible secret. I am actually what is offensively called a ghost. For years now I have concealed my ectoplasmic existence from my friends and family, in fear of a common prejudice against ghosts, or what we like to call the disembodied. I have existed frightened of being discovered, unable to do physical acts that the embodied take for granted, such as walking a squirrel, or drinking a glass of vitamin E milk fresh squeezed from a whale. I grew depressed and even considered acts of self-harm or reincarnation, which is suicide for the disembodied. Such movies as Ghostbusters and its sequels drove my feelings of disenfranchisement, and I began looking for help, only to encounter painful exorcisms in the houses I haunted. Then I met two good people, it says here, Fox and Phil, at What Are You Afraid Of? Horror and Paranormal. And they helped me take control of my own life. Now, it is my choice whether I wish to make phantom bangs in the night, appear at the foot of your bed in darkness, or make your walls bleed. If you are a disembodied person like I am, and you're living a lie, What Are You Afraid Of? Can help you too. They are on at 9 p.m. on Friday nights at Para-X Radio, leaving plenty of time for midnight haunting activities, and can be found on all major podcast services. Listen to their paranormal stories, interviews, humorous sketches and horror fiction to know that you are not alone. And if you are a member of the embodied, don't forget, you are only a single heart attack or tumour away from becoming one of us. This is David Walton. See you on the other side, or as I call it, this side. And that is the end of a perfect day.
Your source for everything paranormal, Para-X.
Hey, this is Lee. If you missed tonight's show or any other show, you can always check them out in the archives on the Para-X Radio Network, or you can go to our website and click on any of your favorite apps. All right, one more by our friends DAP, Dead Animal Assembly Plant. An oldie but a goodie, Rise. Not really so old, but we haven't played it for a while. And this is for you, Zach, and your crew.
If you've enjoyed this episode, share it with your friends.
This is the Dead Zone Paranormal Radio Show.
Thanks for listening.